Hey, welcome back. Recently, I got invited to speak at a gathering. Somebody saw a video of mine. Her name was Anna Lopez, and she heads up a ministry called Beauty for Ashes. And what they do is they they do rescue and minister to people trapped in the sex trade, which I think is a very good ministry. In fact, in one of my videos, I spoke about fertile ground where you can sow seed. This is that kind of thing. That is a very fertile ground. And I'll post some contact information if you want to invest into that ministry. But what I want to get to is she saw a video, never met me before, and invited me to speak. And I was a little nervous. I'm driving up there. It was in Fresno. And on the way up there, I was praying, asking God, what do you want me to tell these people? Because this is the first time I'd ever spoken to anybody that I didn't know the fellowship already or knew somebody there. So I didn't know, other than I corresponded with her a little bit. I didn't know Anna. I didn't know the people that were affiliated with her. I didn't know what they believed in. So I was asking God, what do you want me to tell them when I get there? Because I've got no investment in this. I don't. They're brothers and sisters in the Lord, but other than that, I'm not. God, these are your kids. What do you want me to tell them? And he told me, tell them about my love. Tell them about my love. And this has been something I've loved studying for years and years and years. I've been a big fan of reading accounts where people go to heaven, whether it's a near-death experience or a vision or a dream. I love reading the accounts of when they get to heaven. And there's a common thread that goes through all these accounts. And one of them is when they stand before Jesus or the Father, there's this moment where the love of God flows over them, and it's multi-sensory. You can smell it. You can see the multiple colors of it. It comes like waves, like liquid waves, and just washes over them. And one of the things that everybody, as they're trying to describe this with mere words, as I'm trying to you, they just realize that all their fears drain away. All their thoughts of inadequacy go away. Everything that they thought that they had to pursue doesn't matter anymore in the presence of the overwhelming love of God. And you don't have to stand before God to believe in this love, to recognize it, or even experience it. If you seek it out, you will experience it. When you get your mind around how great this love is, there's a uniqueness about it, tailored to everybody. And the way I like to illustrate this is when families have multiple children, when they have if you're good parents and you love your children, after the first one, you fall in love with that child and you think, I'm a little worried about the next child coming up because how am I going to love that child as much as I love this one here? And what you discover is you develop a unique love specific to that child. You don't love any child more or less, but they each possess their own unique love. They're each unique individuals, and you have a unique love for that one. And God is kind of the same way. He has a unique, specific love for each of His children. And when you start to kind of get your head around that and grasp it, one of the outcomes of that is you begin to feel like you're one of God's favorites. Obviously, He loves all His children, but when you really experience the presence of God, you feel like you're His favorite because that love is unique to you, and there's nobody else that fills that hole, that spot in God's heart. He has a place in His heart. Just like if you have a child and it passes away or dies unexpectedly or whatever, your life, you'll move on. Eventually the grieving will stop and you'll move on, but there'll always be a hole in your heart that person filled, that's no longer there. And you learn to cope with it and you move on. And God's the same way. If His children don't make it into His kingdom, He's missing that part of that child that He loved very dearly. And this is why His heart is for the lost. He doesn't want His children to miss being with Him for all eternity. And so it's important to God that all His children come to Him. And one of the other things that they realize, and this is true, the Bible talks about this, God is the source of all good things. I believe the Bible terms it like this: every good gift comes from the Father. I'll put that up here somewhere. but everything good comes from the Father. He is the source of everything good. When you realize how deep a love He has for you, some of the striving ceases. You don't have to compete with other people. You don't have to, you realize that He loves you so much, He's going to take care of you. You're not going to fail. Things are going to be okay because He loves you so much. And you don't have to go around striving and competing for people. You can then, when you learn how to access the Father and access that love and rest in that love, rest in that peace that love creates, you then become a source of comfort to other people. You know, a lot of people go to church and conferences, and they're looking to get hands laid on and prayed for by every speaker and pastor and elder, anybody they think has something they can impart to them. They want to get it. And that's okay on one hand, but as mature Christians, we need to realize that we can go directly to the Father and access Him for anything we need. Because of His great love, because of the finished work of Christ, we now have that access. We can come to the Father boldly before His throne. And because of His love, He won't withhold any good thing from us. He'll give it to us. And so, as you begin to develop that, you become a source that people want to come and draw on. And hopefully, we're pointing them to the Father. But I just want to encourage people that look to the Father. He's the source. He's the source. Now, here's a point that I bring up. Something to keep in mind is God also loves your enemies. The people that you can't stand, the people that irritate you, the people that actually do malicious things to you, He loves them the same way, with the same unique love that He has for you. And so keep that in mind when you're plotting revenge on somebody, that you're getting ready to enact revenge on somebody that's dearly loved by the Father, just as He dearly loves you. This is a revelation that impacts me all the time. Is it now when you're on the streets looking at people, I try and purpose to have the first thought in my head about them is, how much does God love that person? And it will change the way that you treat other people right away. Definitely. When you realize that God loves people, nobody is worthless. Nobody is talked down to. Everybody is esteemed. So I hope this helps. Be blessed.